Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who understand that there's more to entrepreneurship than finding the latest flash-in-a-pan strategies, who understand that in order to build your empire, you need a solid foundation. I wholeheartedly believe that entrepreneurship is the biggest self-development journey you can be on, and it's my mission to help you make that journey easier. In this show, I bring together the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist and mindset coach behind this show, and you're listening to the Wired for Success podcast. Hey everyone! Today I'd like to talk about a topic that I know a lot of you high achievers out there are struggling with without even realizing it. It's a sneaky form of anxiety that on the one hand helps you achieve great things, but on the other hand makes you pay a huge price for all those achievements and accomplishments. And I don't want to be too dramatic here, but when you're struggling with this, it can feel like you've made a pact with the devil. The devil grants you success, money, and status, but the price you have to pay for this is your physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. And I can say that because I've been there and I know what it feels like. What I'm talking about today is high-functioning anxiety. As I said, this is a sneaky form of anxiety because on the surface, it's not debilitating. It doesn't seem to prevent you from achieving things. It rather pushes you to do more and to do better. And that's why I didn't recognize it for what it was for years. I mean, I had heard about anxiety disorders and those kind of things, but all those stories, they didn't really resonate with me. I mean, they didn't really fit in with my own experiences. I had heard about all those people who were, say, too afraid to leave their houses and thus stayed at home all the time, or who were incapable of forming lasting relationships, or who went completely blank when they had to write a test or give a talk. It was not like that for me. Even at a really low point in my life, where I also felt like staying at home all the time, I still managed to kick myself in the butt and drag myself to work, even though I was having a panic attack and cried all the way to work. Seriously. And I could be so anxious before giving a presentation that I couldn't sleep for a couple of nights before the big day. And then I felt like I was about to throw up right before the talk. And still, I somehow pulled myself together and gave a great presentation. In fact, I guess before every test or interview I've ever had, I felt super anxious and miserable, yet I somehow managed to do great at school and I did great at university. I finished my studies in the top 10%. I got 2 prestigious postgrad scholarships. I had lasting relationships. So on the outside, everything looked great. People thought I had it all figured out, but I hadn't. I felt exhausted because it took so much energy just to get through the day and achieve my goals. I didn't look for professional help because I thought that feeling exhausted and stressed was just the price I had to pay for being successful and for reaching my goals. And after all, I felt like I couldn't really complain. I was always good at what I did. I achieved my goals. I did things despite my fear. So I felt like I didn't really need help, at least until I suffered from a severe burnout and I got really, really sick. And I don't want something similar happening to you. So let's take a closer look at what high functioning anxiety is, and then you can assess for yourself whether or not this might be something that you're suffering from too. First off, high functioning anxiety is not a recognized mental health diagnosis. And this is probably also one reason why so many people don't realize that this is what they're dealing with. For people like us, our anxiety doesn't stop us, it drives us. On the outside, we appear calm and confident, while we feel overwhelmed, anxious, and exhausted on the inside. And that's why people around us, they usually have no clue about what's going on inside of us. They don't know how hard it is to just get through the day. If you're struggling with high functioning anxiety, other people probably see you as diligent, driven, hardworking, loyal, and reliable. You do more than you have to, and you're often the one to pick up the slack when other people can't manage their workload. You are the time management ninja that somehow makes the busiest schedule work. People admire your work ethic. And you don't just excel at work, your social calendar is probably full too. You are the one who volunteers to bake the cake for the school function or to become the kids' soccer coach. In a nutshell, you do all the things nobody else wants to do because you kind of feel obligated to do them. You're used to putting everybody else's needs before your own. And that's why there are not a lot of things, if any, on your calendar that you do simply because you enjoy them. Even if you do work out, for instance, you probably don't do it because you enjoy it, but because you feel ashamed of your body, or you feel guilty if you don't work out because you know you should be working out. Or the other extreme is you love working out because it makes you feel in control when everything else around you seems out of your control. You are organized and detail oriented. Lists and planners are your best friends. You are always on time. In fact, you probably arrive a little bit early just to prepare some more. People around you, they just know that they can count on you. So that's what it looks like on the outside and what other people see. But what you feel on the inside might be an entirely different story. So here are a few things that you might experience. You overthink everything. You try to plan out every single move and be prepared for every single eventuality. Without your lists and your plans, you feel anxious, lost, and overwhelmed. You don't like white space in your calendar. Free time makes you nervous and makes you feel unproductive. And you don't want to be alone with the thoughts in your head. You prefer to distract yourself by keeping yourself busy all the time. You're likely a people pleaser, and any kind of interpersonal tension or conflict just makes you nervous and agitated. You might have developed some nervous tics like biting your fingernails or tapping your foot or playing with your hair, fidgeting, smoking, or something similar to release some of the built up tension. You keep checking and rechecking everything. Say you're about to give a presentation, you don't just check once that you have your notes and everything is working fine. You need to check again and again to reassure yourself. You ruminate a lot and you dwell on worst case scenarios. What if something goes wrong? Is the default question in your mind. You tend to compare yourself to others a lot and you don't like what you see. You're a perfectionist, and when you achieve 99% of your goals, instead of being proud of yourself, you beat yourself up for not achieving 100%. You're constantly worrying about disappointing others, not being perfect, not fulfilling your own or someone else's expectations, or making any kind of mistakes. Life just feels so hard, and sometimes you don't know how to make it through the day. You never really feel present in the moment because you're always either ruminating about the past or worrying about the future. That means that you're unable to relax and you feel like you're on that treadmill that you just can't get off. Your mind is always racing and you don't know how to stop it from going around in circles. As a consequence, you feel mentally and physically drained. But despite going through so much struggle, you likely keep all of that to yourself. Admitting struggle makes you feel weak and ashamed, so you would rather suffer in silence than speak up and share your experiences. You don't want to be a burden. You don't want to be a victim. You're not the one to complain and bigger. You don't want to inconvenience anyone. You are used to figuring things out on your own. You're used to taking charge and taking care of things and people in your life. You're proud of your independence and self-reliance. You don't like to rely on others. You don't like to accept help. You feel like you can't show your true feelings and let down your guard to admit your struggle because if other people found out about how you really felt, they would be disappointed and maybe even despise you. You'd feel like a complete fraud. After all, they have never really seen you struggle. So, how are they supposed to understand what you're going through? You also worry that getting help might mean losing your competitive edge. After all, you're a high achiever and you want to keep it that way. Your achievements are important to you, and you often let your successes define you. The thought of losing that is absolutely terrifying to you. So you try to push all those negative feelings down, you bottle them up, you compartmentalize your feelings, and you never share them with anyone. You put on a brave face and you soldier on. You keep pushing because that's the only strategy you know. The thing is, though, keeping the daily struggle secret only makes things worse. It requires so much extra energy to maintain that perfect facade. It adds to your stress load, which is already way out of balance. So, what's happening on a biological level is that you're chronically stressed, which has severe negative consequences for your mental and physical health. And this is not something to take lightly. Trust me, as someone who's gone through burnout and cancer, you need to learn techniques and strategies to disrupt that chronic stress pattern so that you don't sacrifice your health in your pursuit of success. Remember, health is your first wealth. Your mental and physical health is paramount for creating the life you truly love. And that's why this is one of the main pillars in my coaching program. If you're not able to develop techniques and strategies that help you stay healthy on every level, you don't have a basis for sustainable growth. And I'm sorry to say it, but you're trying to build your empire on quicksand. Chronic stress really affects your mind as well as your body. You might start to suffer from insomnia and struggle with your weight, or you might start to suffer from mysterious headaches or back pains, or you might suddenly suffer from digestive problems or an autoimmune disease. This can be different for everyone because every body has a different reaction to stress. You're at risk for developing addictions that help you escape from your overwhelming and draining day to day experiences. So, for some people, this could mean taking drugs, or drinking too much alcohol, or eating too much. Others might resort to playing video games or watching YouTube videos all night. Again, reactions can be very different, but what they all have in common is that they provide this momentary relief from the stress that you experience. Chronic stress also affects your immune system in a negative way. And those are just some of the negative effects on your body. Now, add in low energy, inability to focus and concentrate, difficulties making decisions, feeling helpless and irritable, maybe even depressed, to mention just a few of the negative effects on your mind, and you have created the perfect storm. Because the body and the mind are connected, chronic stress sends you down this negative spiral that results in more and more stress on your system. So it's really crucial to break free from that negative spiral and learn to relax again. If you've discovered today that you're suffering from high functioning anxiety, then it might feel like you have to choose between success and happiness, but that's not true. You can learn to control your anxiety without losing your competitive edge. You can achieve your goals without struggling so much. Yes, you will still have to put in the work to achieve your goals because you won't achieve your goals without taking action. But what if you didn't have to deal with all that internal struggle anymore? How much more energy would you have if you learned to stop overthinking everything and second guessing your every move? It would make a huge difference, right? You could finally focus on your work instead of worrying about the outcome and the potential risks and mistakes all the time. Learning to allow yourself to achieve things with ease and flow frees up a ton of your time and energy. You will feel like you finally got off that treadmill and you can catch your breath. You can finally enjoy the moment without being preoccupied by worries and rumination. And this finally creates the space to experience happiness because happiness only exists in the moment. So, seriously, learning to manage your level of anxiety will be an absolute life changer for you. And I'm well aware that if you discover today that you're suffering from high functioning anxiety, you will be tempted to keep it to yourself. But if you're ready to work on it and set yourself free so that you can create the life you truly want, then please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I have designed a 3-month program that's perfect for people like you to help you get those quick and lasting results by teaching you how to break free from this negative chronic stress and work with your mind and your body to achieve your goals without sacrificing your health, relationships, or happiness. So, if you want to be and stay successful and build on your current achievements without all the internal struggle, without hustling 24/7, without alienating your friends and family, and without building something that is not aligned with your highest self, then it's time to make a few changes. If that is something that you'd like to learn more about, just reach out to me and I'm happy to answer all of your questions. So that's it for today. Take care and talk soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please take a sec to rate and review my show. It would mean the world to me because you'd help me reach more entrepreneurs like yourself who would love this show. If you'd like to learn more about creating a widely successful business without sacrificing your health, relationships, or sanity, make sure to stick around and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And why don't you help me spread the word and share this show with your friends? I'd really appreciate it, and I'm sure your friends will too. Want to continue this conversation, build real relationships, and join a community of like-minded entrepreneurs? Come join my free Facebook community for visionary entrepreneurs. I would love to see you there. In the meantime, if you haven't done so already, grab my free brain priming audio file for entrepreneurs and start priming your brain for success in less than 5 minutes each morning. Curious? You can learn more about how this works and download the audio file at www.wiredforsuccess.solutions. Until next time, bye!